What's up, everyone? It's Willette with Urbex and Coasters, and today I am in The Hague at Drievliet here in the Netherlands, and we are going to check this place out, so let's go. First, I want to draw your attention to this. See how beautiful that is? For those of you who are unfamiliar, you know why I'm making that comment. Wild waves. Sorry to dunk on you. I know that New Age Premier is screwing you guys over, but you know, it is something that parks in America could really learn from. So we are inside the park. We are going to get our coaster credits here. Our first one that we're going to try to get is going to be the Mauer X-Car coaster. So basically same type of vehicle as Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Looking at that KMG Afterburn, I know I'm going to want to get on that. That looks to have a higher angle max swing than Fireball and looks to spin at that max swing. So I think we might have a new top Frisbee ride. Well, one of our top Frisbee rides, because the one we did yesterday was pretty good, but we're going to focus on coasters first. So we're going to start with Formula X. And the X is as in X-Car, which is what this ride uses. And this is an LSM, so unlike Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, which had a vertical lift hill, this uses LSMs to get up to speed. So here in the stage, in the line, we've got some theming here. And then we've got some of this theming. I'm going to try to not get any people in the shot. I was just realizing, this coaster is on wooden planks, like traveling rides. That is not something I ever expected to see for a ride like this. So I think that this ride is actually pretty good. Like, it's nothing that you would go out of your way for, but you know, if you're in the area and you have a day to come here, I think it's worth it. So you've got the launch here. That launch here, I mean, this is a pretty short, it doesn't have a lot of prime ride time, but I mean, you got a little hang time there. You got some, this hill here has some great air time. And then that has some of the best hang time that I have experienced. And then that overbanked turn has some incredible hang time. And then it goes into the station. So, I mean, doesn't have a lot of prime ride time, but what it does have, it does well. So I think this makes it worth it to come here. And now we are going to be checking out the rest of the park because, of course, we do the whole park. We don't just do one ride. This was another ride that I was very interested in doing here, so let's get on it. This thing is a Mauer Wild Mouse. So this one, it's the same, it's a Mauer like the one at Lagoon, and we got some pretty good forces on that one. I can see the trims are hitting on this one though, so I do not expect this to be as good as Lagoon's, but I definitely want to see how it rides. See, those trims up there didn't hit, so you might be able to get some forces, and there is that theming at the top. But that line is nasty. Well, glad I got in line for the mouse when I did. Look at that. I don't know why they're closing this ride midday like that, but you know, it's a good thing that I was in line when I was, rather than trying to start with 2 re-rides on the Star Coaster or something like it's awfully tempting to do. All right, so I just rode this Mauer Mouse, and as you can see, there is an employee standing there turning people away, but I got in line before she got there, so thank goodness that I did manage to get this credit. But now for my thoughts on it. So I think this is definitely a better mouse than most mice that are over trimmed, but the trims do hit, so it's not like there is airtime being delivered like I was able to get on the mouse at Lagoon, but those drops are still pretty zippy compared to, say, the ones from Mock. So I'd say this is one of the better mice that I've done, and I think Mauer is a little bit underrated among enthusiasts, honestly. Like most enthusiasts, most of us just see Mauer as the company that makes those spinners and makes those spinners with the trimmed version, not like the crazy boost mode-esque version that I got to experience at Lagoon. Making some Lagoon references in this video, I guess, but yes, so yeah, that mouse was more aggressive than the Mock ones. It was more aggressive than the one in Tijuana. It's more aggressive than most mice I've done, but definitely not as aggressive as the one at Lagoon was that was running trimless when I rode it. Probably not going to count this as a credit, but it does look to have some good theming, so I'm going to see what it is like. So we're going to do this Mock powered coaster here. Probably not a credit, but like I said, looks to have some solid theming, so let's check it out. Looks like we have some panning theming here, and you can see some good shots of the track here. Unfortunately, the guests in line are pretty badly behaved, I'm gonna say that, and for a lot of school groups here today, it seems. So, yeah, but we're getting the credits in. We've got some additional theming elements in line here. We've got some dynamite. Why is that not a good idea? Like, if you're gonna build a fire, like, use the stones to dry your stuff, because the stones are gonna get the heat and they're gonna keep the fire out. Don't dry your clothes on that thing up top. Don't cook your food on that thing up top, because when that's wood, what's gonna happen to it? It's gonna burn. I don't see an El Loco here. I do not see an El Loco here. Hopefully the supervisor on that ride that they're calling El Loco is better behaved than the supervisor on El Loco at Adventure Dome, though. Now for this KMG Afterburn, and we're gonna see how it compares to Fireball at my home park of Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So that KMG Afterburn, it has every American enthusiast who's been to Santa Cruz talks about how Fireball has those great spinning max swings as a thing at the end of the cycle and compares it to other KMG Afterburns. But I will say this one runs even better than Fireball, because you get 5 max swings with the full spin. 5. That was incredible. Like, that is the best KMG Afterburn I have done, and I am sure that knowing that European ride cycles for flat rides can be more intense than their American counterparts, I am guessing that I'm gonna see more of this. And like, I mean, we're talking about, like, this is more intense than the most intense KMG Afterburn in America. So definitely something that's worth checking out when you're here. I mean, I don't feel the need to wait in line for this, because I want to get more rides on Formula, but this ride has some pretty cool animatronics, and, well, not animatronics, but structures. Let's, like, so here you can take a look at that, and that track right there is not part of the ride. What do you look at that? So I'm not going to bother with these teacups, because I can see that these ones don't run a great cycle as far as spin. Like, I can see people trying to spin them and not being able to get very much speed at all on them. So I think I'm gonna skip these teacups, because we want to do the ones that have more spin. If you want a good spinny ride, ride that. Because that, as you saw, has some pretty crazy spin. And now it's time for some re-rides on Formula. Touring note for enthusiasts. This ride, while it might be the best ride here from an enthusiast's perspective, it has better capacity than their other coasters, so it doesn't get as long of a line as their other coasters. And also the school groups don't crowd this one like they do the other coasters. I still cannot believe that a ride like this is using wooden blocks for its footers like that. Like, that is unbelievable. And on this thing here, you've got this. So it's considering it to have 2 inversions, and that overbanked turn that has hang time is 135 degrees. You know, I'm honestly surprised this layout hasn't been cloned, because it has some really cool elements and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So this was built in 2007. I'm honestly surprised that it has never been cloned, because this seems right up the alley of a lot of small parks. And I mean, based on a single ride, I can say I think I prefer this to those small-scale Eurofighters like Falcon and Rock Bottom Plunge. So, like, I mean, and it takes up about the same amount of space. So you can see the operator panel has some stickers like that. We've got a log flume here. I personally don't feel the need to do it because it's one of these transportable ones. It sort of reminds me of the one at Playland's Castaway Cove. But you can see they've got some alligator theming in there. Seems like it's not an exclusively American problem that you've got these parks abandoning their band organs on their carousels. Like, because it's 2 for 2 for parks in Europe that are doing the exact same. And there is 40 minutes left till close, I believe. So I am just gonna go get some re-rides on Formula, but I am gonna show off other rides that are here. That Ferris wheel, I don't think it allows single riders. Here's the playground by the mouse, which is back open. The Mauer mice are definitely better than the mock mice, but it's not like this is running untrimmed like the one at Lagoon was running when we were there. So there's that. Trying to show off everything. This is like Moose on the Loose, which I know that ride sort of became a meme, but it's the same ride system here. And here we've got a ride sort of like Clockworks at Canada's Wonderland. One of those. Doesn't look like it has as much swinging as that one does. Here it is up close, so that you can see that I'm not just seeing things about a ride of this scale being supported by wooden blocks as its footers. Like, you can see that. So they do have a 5D cinema here that happened to be loading as I was walking past, so I decided, you know, I'd see what it's like. I'd see how it runs, and I mean, I'm gonna say it has some tummy tickling sensations with the way the seat rotation works. So I thought that, with the way the seat motion works, so I thought that was pretty neat. I will say that the floor is a little low. It's not like I'm freakishly tall and like on the downward motions. I'll find my feet are on the floor over there, but yeah, now I'm gonna get a few more laps on Formula and let's see if there's anything else we end up doing. So for the end of the day, everyone decided to dogpile Formula, so I am going to be a completionist and do the teacups. So just like it looked like from off-ride, that set of teacups is pretty bad. They break you, and it's an automatic thing, so it's not even something that you could ask an operator not to do for what I've seen with these teacup breaks in Europe, because they see the operator as just someone who presses a button and expect you to be better behaved than in America, I guess. So like, you'll see operators walk away from the control panel, and there are certain industry terms that I'm not going to use on my channel because I don't know what all I'm allowed to say, but anyway, so those teacups there are pretty bad. I am going to get at least one more ride on Formula X, and let's see what else goes on here. So that's going to do it here for our day at Drievliet, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with this park. There are definitely some aspects of it, the teacups, that could be a lot better. But in general, I'd say this is a pretty good park. So you've got Formula X. That, I'm honestly surprised that ride has not become a mass cloned thing. Like, I mean, it made this park worth coming to that was not a ride that had been plopped down everywhere. But, you know, I'm honestly surprised it hasn't been, because I'm thinking about equivalently sized Eurofighters, and I'm like, you know, I think I prefer Formula X. Like, really, like, I know it's not something that you hear a lot of enthusiasts say, but I assume it's because not a lot of enthusiasts come to this park. I assume also because the reputation of Gerstlauer versus the reputation of Mauer, that also has something to do with it. But here's what I'll say about that. I think the reputation of Mauer is mostly defined by, you know, an obnoxious number of brake runs on Rip Ride Rocket, which that ride got overhated. But anyway, an obnoxious number of brake runs on Rip Ride Rocket and those Mauer spinners that they plop down everywhere that are generally family coasters that they run with trims. And I am not talking about the awesome cycle I got on Spider at Lagoon, because that is exempt from me calling them family coasters. Another Lagoon reference in this video. But anyway, yeah, so fun little park. If you are in the area, I think it is worth coming to.